COVID risks continue for workers
Are we
like
there
me.
yet?
We need the Congress to
All right.
do
I'm sorry I came
more
in
by
late.
passing the Build
See,
Back
still don't
Better
have half my stuff
legislation
ready.
that would do much to support American working families. I'm so thankful to be able to share my story today at the White House and to be a voice for workers and labor across the
Who
country.
wrote this for her?
I now, it's now my honor to introduce the 46th President of the United States, Joe Biden.
This is your president of the United States. You can tell I don't have my microphone set up. I'm moving I'm moving. Oh, come on. Oh, yeah, go Joe.
Jocelyn, please. Thank you, Jocelyn.
Did he just thank the audience? Or tell him to like settle down from
walking in and
clapping?
podium and speaking in the
I
White
don't
House.
think. Oh, that's
Cool.
cool.
You did a great job. Thank you.
Whoops.
Thank you. Before I really begin, I want to say that I think one of the biggest things that's changed is
I don't have my headphones in. Sorry, guys.
my dear mother, God bless her soul.
I'm
used
trying,
to
I'm
say,
trying,
"If
I'm trying,
everything
I'm
bad,
trying, I
something
promise, I
good
promise,
will
I
come if
promise.
you look hard enough for it." And I think one of the good things that's come out of this god-awful crisis regarding COVID is ordinary people who never thought about
Let's do this works. I got new
at the drugstore,
earbuds.
never thought about the grocery store workers,
They're the
never
wrong
thought
size.
about what that firefighter has to do when they go in. They don't ask, do you have COVID or not? Never thought about the people who keep this country up and running before. I really mean this sincerely. It's not a political, it's a reality. And I think people went, whoa, whoa. And instead of, which was a good thing, banging pots and pans when people came back from rescuing other folks, I think they began to realize, this is part of the deal.
This is part of the
I use
deal.
my dad's expression, and I mean it sincerely. A few of you knew my dad. You see,
Nobody there
everyone's
knew your
entitled to
dad,
be treated with
dude.
dignity. And that's what the labor union is all about, dignity.
Oh, it's labor unions.
Dignity for people
Oh, jeez.
who deserve to be treated differently. And I want to thank Jocelyn, and I want to
Hang on.
thank
Change your mics.
President Schuler.
I gotta get a
Madam
mic.
President.
I gotta get pro
And I
mic.
know you didn't expect to be in
There we
this
go.
role at this moment, but as I told you before, I believe that the future of American labor is in very good hands. I really mean it. Thank you.
There is no American labor. Did you know?
And I want to welcome everyone to the White House. And I really mean it.
Did you know that labor
This is your house.
manufacturing
It's
makes
not
up like
hyperbole.
8% of
It's a
the
fact.
U.S.
This is
economy?
your house. I wouldn't be here without you. That's, again, not hyperbole. In my White House, you'll always be welcome. Always be welcome. Labor will always be welcome.
Yeah, nobody did more for labor than Donald Trump did.
Say many times, I intend to be the most pro-union president, leading the most
Can't beat
pro-union
Trump.
administration in American history. But I think one of the reasons I'm able to do that is the public is changing too. You've changed the public. You've educated them a lot. I want to thank the dues-paying members of the laborers, Marty, Marty Walls, who's helping make sure that we keep the commitments across our entire government. And before I go any further, I'd like to pause for a
I like to
moment
find my
of silence
applesauce.
to honor the hundreds of union workers and essential workers who have died from COVID-19, and honor a buddy, John Sweeney, who we lost earlier this year, and honor a truly dear friend, Rich Chumka. A moment of silence, please.
Why don't you say a prayer? Why don't you have the balls to say a prayer?
Thank you. This is real. One of the things I admired about Rich is that he understood what people in this economy are really facing. He, like most of you, felt it in his bones. He understood what had happened to workers in this country, like you do. I've got to know a lot of you really, really well.
Don't raise taxes.
You taste it. You understand it. I get kidded by my staff for all these years, and I say, I trust the person most who arrives at the right decision when it starts in their gut, goes to their heart, and then they have the ability to articulate it because it
All
goes to
right,
the brain.
just make sure I'm on live.
They're the ones that never back down. They're the ones that stay with you. The ones who arrive at intellectually are the ones that first, I welcome that, but they're not the ones who are stay to the end. And, Rich understood the past and the challenges like so many
Did he?
who lived and
Did he
lived
understand?
through these moments. But he also understood the future. I think he understood who built this country and the tools that were needed to build it back and build it back better. You've heard me say it 100 times. We're the only country in the world that goes into a crisis, and when we come out of it, we're stronger than before we went in it. That's by building back better. We're going to build back better. We have to. We must. We will. Because that's who we are. That's what America is. On Labor Day, we honor the dignity of the American worker. And every day,
Why don't you honor the dignity of
America wasn't built by
my
Wall Street.
jock?
I know that black folks on Wall Street. I'm not suggesting that. But they didn't build America.
You got those Americans out of Afghanistan yet, Joe?
And unions built the middle class.
Oh wow, he actually admitted that the middle class is a class. These people hate the middle class. I don't understand that about communism.
He gave workers a voice. All the way back from my great-grandfather Blewett, who was a mining engineer. Back to the days of the Molly Maguires and all the way, and folks were treated in
Who's Molly
Northeast
McGuire?
Pennsylvania, the coal mines.
Oh
He
jeez.
gave people a voice. Molly Maguires they were a little tougher. He gave him a hard time. He ended up on the doorstep in a bag. But
What?
think about it.
What's he talking
One
about?
of the basic things.
What is he talking about? Does he know?
We just ought to give people the ability just to be able to take a deep breath, have a little bit of breathing room. And what are those things? Well,
Yeah, it was great. Oh hey,
God willing, higher wages and a safer workplace, and protections against discrimination and harassment.
oh
That's not
jeez.
asking for
Oh jeez. Now here we go.
Fundamentally transform
I got
how we
to close my
live
door.
and how we work in this country. The reason we have is because of the victories won by labor. I'm going to be a bit repetitive. The 8-hour day, the weekend, time and a half for overtime, safety standards, sick days.
Where is that?
Victories for all of us. Because I might add, I notice when you all do that, everybody benefits. Whether they belong to a union or not.
Why does he whisper? Why does he
Whether they belong to a
whisper?
union or not.
I mean, that's creepy. The whisper's creepy. Nobody whispers.
When unions win, workers across the board win. That's a fact. Families win, community wins.
Hang on,
America
I
wins.
gotta
We
find this
grow.
out.
Despite this, workers have been getting cut out of the deal for too long a time. From 1948, after the war, to 1979, productivity in America increased by more than 100%, while the pay for American workers grew by nearly 100%.
Oh,
Then
is that a
along
shock?
came
No.
1979 and everything began to change. Productivity in the country has grown almost 4 times faster than pay since 1979. That means the workers have been given much more to their employers' bottom lines than they've gotten back in their paychecks, breaking the basic bargain of this country. The bargain was if you work hard and you contribute to the welfare of the outfit you work with, you got to share in the benefits.
No, it wasn't.
Well, that stopped for a long time.
Yeah,
So,
you were in power
carve
for
out
60 years.
Your piece of the middle class and make it a possibility.
Joe, are you
That's
saying
what
that
that's
the
taking away
United
from
States
us.
Senate is worthless and that the
Instead,
only position
some
that
people
matters is the
started
president,
seeing the stock
and essentially
market
he's a
corporate
king for 8
profits
years?
And executive pay is the only measure for economic growth. By the way, the stock market's gone up exponentially since I've been president. You haven't heard me say a word about it. The I'm glad it's gone up. No problem. Look, let me tell you something. My measure of economic success is how families like mine growing up, working families, busting their neck, how they're doing, whether they have a little breathing room, whether they have a job that delivers some dignity, a paycheck they can support a family on. In an economy, the economy my administration is building, instead of workers competing with each other for the jobs that are scarce, everybody's mad at me because now, guess what? Employers are competing to attract workers, having to raise pay.
Oh,
Think about it.
that's not a real life thing, dude.
That kind of competition in the market helps workers earn higher wages. It also gives them the power to demand dignity and respect in the workplace. Simply put, worker power is essential to building our economy back better than before. It's just that basic. To counter corporate power, to grow the economy from the bottom up and the middle out. I'm so tired of trickle down. I ask, when has the middle class done better that the wealthy haven't done incredibly well? I can't think of a time that when the middle class is booming and moving, everybody does well.
But the middle class doesn't create wealth.
I also signed an executive order to improve competition in the economy, including calling for a ban on non-compete agreements that deny workers the right to change the job in the same field, even when there's no real reason for a company to stop them. It's all about suppressing wages. That's what it was about.
But non-compete agreement, what are you?
When Congress passed,
Non-compete agreements are something that are not used for a middle class. That is a
should be allowed. That's how it's kind of viewed for a long time. It said that we, the government, should encourage unions and collective bargaining, making it easier.
It's we, the people, are the government.
I believe that every worker should have a free and fair choice to join a union. The law guarantees that choice. That belongs to workers, not to their employers or to special interests. That's why I signed an executive order creating a White House task force on worker organizing and employment to facilitate that choice whenever and wherever we can. Look, I want to thank Vice President Harris and Secretary Walsh-Marty for leading that task force. That's why I want to see Congress pass the PRO Act and send it to my desk immediately.
Okay.
That's why I want us to extend organizing and collective bargaining rights to state and local government employees, like transit workers, first responders.
He wants to unionize
essential workers,
government employees. That's what he's talking about right now. So that means your taxes will go up.
Be a barrier to workers organizing. It's government's job to remove those barriers.
No, these are government workers.
To make the choice whether to organize or not, whether to form a union.
Do you want your firemen to go on strike?
We need to help.
Do you want your police officers to go on strike?
That can be the right choice for them. We know the economic reasons.
Now think about this. You got defund the police, like health insurance, and you got all the stuff of 2020, and now you're going to say the police can go on strike. That is
American reason.
What collective bargaining is.
Join unions gain power. Power over the decisions and the decision makers that affect their lives. Workers' voices are heard and heeded. In a simple word, a union means there is democracy. Democracy. Organizing, joining a union, that's democracy in action. And it's about dignity on the job, but it's also about creating good jobs. When I came to office, our first job was to stop the economic bleeding, and it was the worst bleeding since Roosevelt. We passed the American Rescue Plan. That delivered shots in arms and checks in pockets and provided that extra breathing room for working families. It helped state and cities keep essential workers on the job, including educators, police officers, firefighters, sanitation workers. And thanks to the part of the rescue plan named for Ohio labor leader Butch Lewis, over 1 million retirees and workers across the country
I'm typing, y'all. I'm sorry. I can't do two things at once.
They can trust that the pensions they work for and sacrifice to secure will be there for them. You know,
What are you babbling about?
Agreement we reached to rebuild
Ohio.
America's infrastructure. Already putting hundreds of thousands of people to work, including plumbers, pipe fitters, electrical.
Only
workers,
600 people are
steelworkers,
watching
sheet
this
metal
on
unions,
the White
modernizing
House's
roads, bridges, water systems, broadband systems, capping abandoned oil and gas wells.
whatever the
that
hell
are
this
leaking
thing's
over
called.
100,000 of them, making
Channel.
the same salary as digging that well. It creates jobs for American workers and makes our cities and towns more resilient and better able to meet the climate crisis.
Oh,
Keep
geez.
those
Climate
jobs
crisis,
here at
my
home.
ass.
When your government spends the taxpayer's dollar, it's going to buying American goods, made in America by American workers.
Here's the thing. But you need to be out there giving a speech. I like this buy American stuff. The problem is that we have a culture of
Look,
American
over the
one-upism.
years,
We don't have a
Buy
culture of American
became a
quality.
hollow promise.
I mean,
It's been there for a long
you can
time.
get all day long tools,
I'm gonna
simple
make it
hand
reality.
tools, either made in Germany or Japan,
Next
that are incredible
Next up
quality.
is dealing with
America,
the
you
ability
can't
to
get it, and you find something you can
to
immediately tell
pass
where
the
they cut
Build
corners.
Back Better agenda. Once in a generation investments in our people, making housing more affordable. Bringing
This has
down the
been
cost of prescription drugs by giving Medicare the power to negotiate for lower prices. You ought to thank Bernie Sanders for a lot of this.
oh my gosh.
Making-
Tell me that's not
Making
a
elder care. and
warning
child care
shot
more
for
affordable
communism.
while
If
improving
the coronavirus has taught us
healthcare
one thing,
workers
it's
and
that
childcare workers.
government health care
Providing paid
is a
family
scam
leave
and should
medical
never
leave
happen.
So that no worker is forced to choose between their job and their caregiving responsibilities. You've all fought for all these things.
You know what? I
You got
have.
to make them available.
I've had to make a
Provide
lot of
2 years
sacrifices.
Free university, high quality pre-K, and high quality pre-K 2 years that are needed. It shows
Why do we
that
have
you send
pre-K
kids
now?
to
I mean,
school at
you're
age
sending
3, 4,
kids away at
5,
5 years old to the
increased by
government to
46%
teach,
possibility that no matter what the
and
background,
now you want to send them at
they'll
4,
go
at
through
3?
school all 12 years and do well. And when I asked, in the Obama administration, I was asked to find out from the CEOs of the Fortune 500 what they most wanted, what they most needed, what was their greatest concern.
Profits.
And over, I think it's, don't hold me to the exact number, 348 or 47, I can't remember the number.
Didn't you just say Fortune 500?
Said the single most important thing is they needed a better educated public. But guess what? They weren't paying for it.
They all say that.
Does anybody think if we were starting off from scratch, setting up public education, we'd say 12 years is enough in the 21st century? So look.
Oh my
we have to
gosh.
invest in high quality
12
jobs
years
and
is,
apprenticeships,
it
invest
really
in
should be
jobs.
enough.
Compete to give middle-class families a well-deserved tax cut for daycare and health care, and provide a significant monthly tax cut for working families with children. That's what it is.
It's so you get penalized if you don't have kids.
It is a.
Why can't we
tax
just have a
cut
fair?
for ordinary folks? That's what it is.
Oh, there he goes with that creepy whisper. I mean, that's his. Come here, little girl.
As part of that, I want us to send
Uncle Joe's got some candy in his pocket.
finally provide dreamers, TPS recipients, farm workers, essential workers, a pathway to citizenship. bringing them
Dreamers.
out of the shadows
Remember, the
of
Supreme Court struck that down. Trump got rid of it.
Our laws and our unions provide.
Supreme Court backed him up.
Folks, we're making progress. Our economy has added 750,000 jobs a month on average. during the
Not in
past 10
August.
months.
You see those numbers, Joe?
There are more than 4 million jobs since I took office. In the first half of this year, our economy grew fast at a fastest rate
Oh my
in 40
gosh.
years. Unemployment is down.
It's because you shut down America when it was really, really taking off.
Just want to add one more thought in closing. While the pandemic has prevented me from traveling as much as I'd like, I've had
Then
a
you
chance
get
to
lost.
meet with many of your brothers and sisters and many of you. The proud UAW members building cars and trucks in Pennsylvania and Michigan, and noting that the
Ohio.
Big Three have decided that, along with the support of those unions, going electric. So we own that market.
Oh, geez. No, we gave up Afghanistan, who has like 90% of the world's lithium.
Firefighters in Columbus, ASME workers in Allentown, IBW workers and iron workers and nurses and grocery store workers in Cincinnati, plumbers and gas fitters in Maryland, AFT
But,
teachers in
I
Virginia.
mean, plumbers are just,
And by the way, of course,
if you can build a Lego, you can plumb. Sorry, guys. It's a tedious, horrible job. I just got done doing some.
Same one.
Totally love plumbers. Wish I had a good one.
Jill had her first day of full-time teaching yesterday.
Yeah, economy's harder than everybody. She had to go back to work.
I've talked with union transit workers, machinists, laborers, and welders in Wisconsin. We've had Teamsters here in the White House, and always the Teamsters always have my back. And last week, I met with the first responders in New Orleans. And on Monday, I dropped by some of the IBW linemen in Delaware, helping recover from Hurricane Ida. You know, in the last year has taught us anything. It's what's essential. And what's essential is you, not a joke. You and your union members.
Oh, everybody else, you're not essential. You suck ass.
In the middle of this, this Ida, every IBEW member resigned. We'd be in real trouble. I say that to make a generic point. I think we significantly underestimate, and I think even you guys sometimes underestimate, the incredible value you bring to the safety, security, and growth of the economy.
Hang on a second. I'm going to look this. I got to look something up.
You know, you're America's heart and you're America's soul. And we all need to fight as hard for them and work as hard for them as we can. And I want to say the press was very, very, not just the press, a lot of people were very, very skeptical that when I was talking about we had to deal with the environment, that labor would never help. Well, guess what? Labor's the reason it's working. Labor stepped up because you all understand. And I made a promise and I'll keep it. That what we're talking about here is when you think of global warming, think of jobs.
Yeah, you got to have jobs before you can have your precious global warming.
Create, making us once again the fastest growing we are now and most competitive economy in the world. So, folks,
the average hourly pay for a UAW member is between $28 and $38. So let's say that's $33
for all you've done for the country and what you've done for me over my career. You've educated me.
To make $66,000 a year.
And you've always been there. Now, I'm supposed to stop and walk out of the room here. I'm going to stop. But with your permission, I'm going to walk into the room.
With your permission.
Thank you.
What's happening? He's gone wandering. Or he saw somebody's hair he has to have a whiff of. Oh. The guy was like Donald Trump Jr. Why are they playing this music? Look at this. There's not a union member there. They're all union bosses. None of those guys have driven a rivet in years, if ever. These masks are so goofy looking. At least get a good. You think UAW workers would have the a real mask on? Look at the sign language chick right here. She doesn't know what to do. And why did sign language hit like 2 weeks after Corona? It's like everybody has to have a sign language interpreter now. And everything is on CNC, closed captioning. Like, I like that they're there. I'm not saying that I don't. But in the 21st century, this is a pitiful job. One, I should be able to click and it's no longer on my screen. Two, if I want to see it, why isn't it animated? Why isn't there a computer animation doing sign language? Be a lot better than most sign language. You remember that guy when Obama was in, I don't know, Rwanda? It's all Rwanda to me. And some dude's like, oh yeah, I'm the sign language interpreter. Got up on stage next to Obama and started he did like dance moves. He did not do sign language. I kid you not. It was the funniest thing. Did the whole thing before anybody ever realized this guy's, as far as we know, He's 5 feet from the president and could be a terrorist. Look at this guy's hair. He just got out of bed. You ever think some guys shave their head just because they're lazy? Oh, that has got to be one ugly woman. You know she voted Democrat. I hate Indian chicks that look like this. Like every time I talk, you see that how the eyes go up? It's like there's always talking down to you. It's a cultural thing. I don't know what it is. It's like blondes using whiteout on computer screens. Well, that's it. That was not as fun as I wanted, but it was fun nonetheless. So if you had a good time, please subscribe, hit the like, share the thing. God, aren't you just... We've got to change the whole algorithm. We're going to do it one channel at a time. We're going to do it right here. This is your channel. Love you guys. I didn't check. Let's see here. Yeah, he's gone. All right. So be good. You want to be awesome today? Do something cool for somebody. Gosh, just smile big and say thank you when you go through a drive-thru or something like that. Be a real human, people. It's amazing. It feels great. Other than that, till later on, guys. Peace out. Be good. Godspeed. And if I figure out how to end the broadcast, I'm ending the broadcast. Subscribe.